two. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. When the school hoops and we're back for more. More guests and topics to explore. School Hoops and School Hoops and welcome back to the S.U.S podcast.
Really think that okay, put it this way. This particular ECQ, for some reason, I don't know why, I thought I would breeze through it because I know what to expect already. But
Mm.
it's actually been kind of hard, in a way. Um, I don't know. Maybe it's my consciousness saying, "Oh my God, it's this again." Uh, I've never felt it before, but now I feel this whole. It's like I'm a guinea pig in a wheel, going around and the
Mm-mm.
wheels going around and around. It's the same day over and over again. Even if I try to change things up, I have taken steps into fighting that. Like, you know, I don't give myself a hard time. At the end of the day, I'm like, no, I did actually do something today. I achieved this today. I finished this today. Or even if it's like I read 10 pages of this book today, that's already something to account for. Um, but yeah, that's how it's been really different, I guess. Because before, you know, um, I I'd have meetings. I'd drive around. I get stuck in traffic, go places. Every day was different. Every day had something to offer. The work that I would do is also very different and all that. But now it's like, well, I'm pretty much, this is my spaceship. This is my mentality right now. My desk is my spaceship, the control panel of my spaceship. I'm in my little space station, and I think that's the rest of my fam feels the same way. I'm confined to this space, and I just make the most of what I have. Um, yeah, so it's definitely been different. I suppose for everyone else, and I'm like I said, I'm lucky because I get to stay in. Some people have to go out. Some people
Mm.
have to. That's not easy. Never
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah, that's
But
very true.
yeah.
Especially like what you said about how, for some reason, this particular ECQ, this round of ECQ has been really tough. I think it's also because, a lot of us thought that at like by this time, having some of us having gotten vaccinated and everything,
Yeah.
hopefully, we would have gotten to a point where ECQ would be a likely scenario to have anymore. But now with all of these new variants coming in,
Yeah.
the hope that we had, it's now fading away again. And I think to
Yeah.
go through that cycle a second time is why it's hitting a bit harder.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we were expecting, it's funny. Over the course of the year, I've heard people say, yeah, I thought talaga 1 month lang, 2 months, and then
Mhm.
Yeah,
okay na.
that was
I'm
us
like,
in the beginning.
Same. Yeah, that was definitely us.
maybe not. Maybe not. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
I think that, I guess it's the uncertainty that you
Yeah,
can't see.
that's very
It's the fog. It's the fog in front of you that you can't see through. That's a problem. Yeah. But, well, gotta deal with it. And I obviously this is not a show about faith, but I pray. I pray a lot. It's helped. Definitely helped.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, very,
I
very
remember
helpful.
having we did this one episode about when we talked about our quarantine experiences. And I like what Manong said about like even if you just read like 10 pages of a book that you've been wanting to read, or you did, one particular thing that you set yourself to do for the day. I really think that during this time it's really important to just cut yourself some slack and to just celebrate like, the small victories. I mean, yeah, like we're all in the same boat.
Sure.
And what's really important is to just make sure that you're surrounded with, your family, your loved ones, your friends. Taking care of your mental health is very important nowadays.
Y-
So yeah.
something a little bit different about me, which I noticed, which I think is a good thing, that I'm never in my
Mhm.
whole life, and I'm obviously way older than you guys, but nowadays when I wake up in the morning, the first thought in my head, this has never happened in my entire life. The first thought in my head is, thank you, God. I'm alive, I'm healthy, and I'm here to, go through this day, and may it be pleasing to you. Maybe, I hope I can be of service to you. It's not that it's I don't know, it's just weird. It's just not man weird. It's just that I've never woken up with that. It's come to that I've taken all these little things and really been trying to be grateful for whatever, for another day,
That's
as
true.
simple as that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's very true. There are a lot of things I think that, of course, this situation that we're in, it's really tragic, everything that's happening. But one of the things that, like, us, and I hope a lot of other people have tried to look at, is all the things that we've gained through this, like,
Yeah.
quarantine time as well. Like, there are a lot of people who we probably wouldn't have gotten a lot closer to had it not been for everyone
Yeah.
being stuck at home, and even us doing this podcast. It probably would never have happened had we not had the time to actually, like, sit down and
Yeah.
consider doing something like this. So there's a kind of like a little light at the in the middle of the fog.
Absolutely. And I've actually seen people um kind of change for the better, like clear change, like they become a little more empathetic, a little more caring for each other. And it's great. I mean,
That's
why, diba? You can't complain about that. That's an awesome thing. It's either that or you go completely the opposite direction. But hopefully, you go hopefully you go in a more positive direction.
Mhm. Yeah, many people are getting creative too, like
yeah.
posting whatever content out there.
Sure.
Yeah, like,
Dude, I did that too. In the start of Lana and the start of lockdown. I think it was because we didn't know anything. We didn't know what was happening. We didn't know what was going on. So talagang our brains are trying to process everything. And
mhm.
I picked up my guitar, which I suck at.
Nah,
I
I
love
mean, not not
no no
you
no
picked it up.
no, no. I love music, and it's everything about it. I've done the whole band thing. I've sung in bands and all that, but I'm a singer. I'm not a guitar player. I suck at guitar. I took years of guitar lessons, and I still can't play it. But I picked it up, and then I started saying, you know what, I want to sing and play at the same time. That's just my goal. Sing and play at the same time. So
Yes.
I videoed myself, and I said, it sucks, but I'm going to post this. And I'm going to post it because I want to feel like I achieved something, because I felt
Yeah.
like I was just going in circles and the world was swallowing me. And when I
Mhm.
did it in a weird way, even if it was sucky, I didn't care if no one watched it. I just want to feel like, I don't know, I had some worth, pa. I could do something, pa. and
Yeah.
and and, and I did. So yeah, you're right. It does push us to do creative things and ideas, and which is great, because maybe that, um especially with you younger guys, we all live in a digital world, more so you guys
Mm-hmm.
because you grew up in this. It forces us to use our imagination more and our creativity more, and not just rely on the digital realm to feed us with whatever, diba? So that's
Mhm.
actually a good thing, definitely.
Yeah. Because if you
It's
think
true.
about it, this is like the first time, well, at least for the younger people, I guess, this is the first time that we've experienced a full-on pandemic, like a
Well,
pandemic that's gone for like about a year at least.
all of us naman. I think my
Yeah.
my
Mhm.
lola's 90, in her mid 90s, and this is
Mhm.
her first pandemic also. So
Wow.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's
No.
not
Yeah.
something that, it's not something that you imagine in your lifetime you'll go through,
Yeah, that
Mhm.
will never happen.
It's not
right?
something you want to happen too.
No, it's
For
definitely
sure.
not something you want to happen. Yeah. Although I have a friend who said early on, he said, Jay, this is our World War II. Our, like, my grandparents lived through World War II. Of course, it's not
Mm.
technically the same. It's not like we're fighting something,
Yeah.
but the struggle and the stress and the, it's kind of akin to all our all our red flags are flapping all over the place. So in that sense, I guess the stress that we have to deal with also, because we've been basically, the rug was pulled out underneath us, and everything we know, the life that we know has been pulled out from underneath our feet,
That's
and
so true.
we have to deal. We have to deal. So yeah.
Scary thought.
I know, but
Yeah.
it's not like it's not. We have to believe it's gonna come back. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
we have
Ah,
to,
yeah, for
you know.
sure.
For
Diba?
sure, for sure.
You have to believe it's gonna come back. Maybe not the same right away, but it's
Slowly.
gonna come back. Yeah.
It will, yeah.
I didn't really set out to become a chef initially. I mean, well, no, okay, like this. When I decided to go to culinary school, kasi, I was doing an entirely different thing for work. Uh, I ran a design group, and then after a while, it just wala. I couldn't sustain it. So sadly, we had to close it, and so on and so forth. So that's when I decided to go to culinary school. And if there's one thing I've learned after going to culinary school, um, it's that it's not necessarily the direct path, but it is one of my beating hearts. I have two beating hearts, I like to say, if I'm being truthful. My one beating heart is food, the other's music. So I'm equally nerdy
Oh, what
about
a good
music.
combo.
Good
Equally
combo.
nerdy about
What a
music
great
than
combo.
I am with food. And I yeah, everything I have failed at has helped me kind of evolve myself in the world of food. So I guess my eye for aesthetics, my writing. So I've always been a bit of a writer. I never thought I would wind up. That was my undergrad. I never thought I would write for newspapers or magazines or whatever, but that's exactly what happened. So I started writing about it. I started a company because I had all these ideas when I came back from the States, and it my education and my eye for stuff uh, started me on the road to doing like pop-ups in weird places. And
I went to
so
some of those
we
with my
became kind of
parents.
known we became kind of known for that. It's a bitch to put together, but yeah, it was, because at the end of the day, my truth was I wanted to bring people together through food. So that was how that happened. And then I started organizing like little curated markets with all these little artisans doing really good stuff that needed a voice. So I used my platform to let them, I shouted out for them, and hopefully that during the events that I organized, people would discover them and get them going, and to grow their business and to grow their products and stuff like that. Those are the things that I did. I did work in a restaurant. Well, I just not really work. I They used me as slavery, as a slave. I trained in a restaurant for after school, after I finished school. So yeah, so I've seen all the aspects of the food industry, most of it anyway, and that was what made me become what I am today. I wouldn't really call myself a chef. From day one, I never said I was a chef. I just happened to know how to cook. And that was and also, that was one of the reasons why I could write about things easily. I was allowed into kitchens because me and the chefs, we spoke the same language. I could speak their language. If they would
Hi.
explain to me, well, this is what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, so this is this how you did it? Is this how you did it? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's how I did it. Or maybe I should do this. And then if I gave any advice, if I thought that maybe why don't you try doing this, they wouldn't be like, what the hell do you know, right? Because they knew naman that I knew what I was talking about. So, in so many words, um, I am an anomaly in the food scene, I think, because nga, it's not very, it's not a very direct path that I took, and I do lots of little things. That's why it's hard to describe what I do exactly. Lately, I came up with this term, which I use. I don't know if it's gonna stick, but when people ask what I am, I said, well, I call myself a food creative because I do creative work in the
That's cool.
in the food space. That's because it's imagine it took me all these minutes to explain exactly all the things that I do. But if I just say I do creative work in the food circles, then maybe they'll kind of get, oh, okay, I get it, sort of. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's I'm ever evolving. Put it that way. Did I answer your question? Please let me know. I tend to ramble
Yeah.
sometimes.
Oh
Did
yeah,
I
that
answer?
You're like a food influencer in a marketing like
Sort of,
consultant also kind of brings
sort of, sort
connections
of.
and
Yeah,
restaurants
yeah,
together. You kind of
yeah, yeah.
like promote for like up and
Yeah,
coming brands that you think like are gonna make a big impact on the food industry.
yeah, yeah. And I
I
like
like
connecting
that.
people as well.
Mm.
Because well, again, um, it's always in service that I try to think. How can I help? How can I be of service for this? Okay, because it'll the work and the stuff will come eventually. I have no agenda. I don't want to be the overlord of food. I don't want to be like that's not my you know what I mean? I'm not after fame and
Yeah,
fortune or whatever. I'm just here
Mm.
because this is what I do. I'm good at it, and let me help and see what let's see what we can do. And everything just comes along naturally because of that.
Yeah. I love that mindset.
yeah,
yeah, it's a nice
solid.
initiative to like people first. Everything
Yeah,
Yeah.
else comes after.
it because it will. If you just chase, that's another thing. I guess in my age, I always think that why are we chasing? Why are we, working so hard to chase these things that we're supposed to chase? Why can't we just, you know, um, do what we feel we should be doing and be good at it, diba? Just fame is fleeting. Power is evil if you can't handle it.
That's true.
Money is great. Of course, we all want money, but I've seen people chase it so hard that they're so unhappy with all their money.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
'di ba? The money. I mean, great. It's good to have money, but it shouldn't be the end all and be all of your existence, right? Um, and that I'm getting philosophical already, but that's the that's the thing, right? I mean, yeah, I grew up wanting things. I still want things, but I don't really need it. I don't need a Ferrari. I don't need a mansion. I don't need, diba? It at the end of the day, it goes back to what we were talking about kanina. What are you most grateful for? What do you have around you right now?
That's true.
Um, why can't you be happy with that? Because that's really all you need, right? Um, so yeah. Oh God, I went to so many places. Sorry.
That's all
Oh
right.
no, it's fine.
That's what we're
It's all
looking
good,
for. That's the
Manong. It's
content.
all
So
That
many
good.
was actually that
places.
was actually insightful.
So many
Yeah,
places.
super.
We want this.
We got a clear
Yeah.
picture of what you call yourself, a food creative.
I like the food influencer term. I like that. Coin that.
Yeah,
Mm.
I I I I get lumped with the whole influencer scene thing. Um, but I don't really consider myself one because
Okay.
I it's just no, very simply put, I just share what I know. And it's up to
Mm.
you to trust me or not. So if there's anything I worked hard on, perhaps in the past 10, 11 years, I've been doing this whole food, whatever, all the stuff I talked about. I've been doing it for around 11 years already. The biggest thing I probably worked on was, you know, to be someone who people can trust. Like I won't bullshit you. I'll always say what I think is on my mind. I will always say it kindly with I don't wanna ruin anyone's reputation. Obviously there's a lot of bad food, there's a lot of bad stupid businesses and all that, but I don't want to ruin them. I would rather just say maybe you can try to do this, or maybe you can try to do that. I would come from a place that I want to be of service. I want to help you. It's up to you to take my advice or not. If you don't take it, that's fine. But yeah, I don't want to, because it's hard. The food industry, it's general, the food business. Ask anyone in the business. It's one of the hardest businesses ever. So yeah, I feel for them. I feel for everyone in the business. After I finished culinary school, I was on the way back to Manila na. From New York. I went to school in New York. I passed
Wow.
by California first. And I had a friend who worked there kasi, so I booked a table at this restaurant called the French Laundry. And the French Laundry is, if you look it up, is probably one of the most famous fine dining restaurants in the entire United States. It's hard to get into. You have to reserve months in advance and so on and so forth. It's in the Napa Valley, north of San Francisco. And when I got the reservations, because of my friend who worked with that group, with the chef, I called up some of my friends and I said, guys, I have a table for four. Uh, I can't pay for you, but I have a table for four. So if you want to join me, reserve this date na. So they said, okay, game. And I have a friend who drove in. I think he drove in from LA just to go to that dinner, right? And so there we were, sitting at the French Laundry. They don't care who you are. If you're obviously like us, if you're obviously uh, just in it for the experience and nagtitipid and all that stuff, that's fine too. If you're not too dressed for the occasion, we didn't look like we were loaded or anything. We had our jackets, but that's about it. Um, and then I'm not sure if it was my wife or my friend when they asked what drinks, what would you like to drink? And then they go, um, I would like a Sprite. Okay. Okay.
I
We
knew
just
it. I knew it.
I would like a Sprite, please. And then I was like, holy shit, did you just order a freaking Sprite in the French Laundry? And he goes, why ba? I want a Sprite. Why? I'm not gonna drink. I don't drink wine naman, so I don't want any wine. So okay, okay, fine. But you know, like in my head, I was kind of ano pa eh. I was atat pa. I was straight out of school, so I've measured that mentality na, oh yeah, okay, I have all this knowledge in my head. Sana man lang you ordered sparkling water or something like that, or a Sprite. So pucha, I'm not kidding. Out, and then the windows right behind us, dude, we saw the maitre d running out the building to a store
Get the
nearby
right.
to bring the Sprite
Oh
restaurant.
no.
Oh.
And my point being, he could have said, no, sir, we don't have Sprite in this restaurant. I'm so sorry. Can you order something else? But they went out of your way to, and that made the meal way more memorable for us. That's one of the things. We just laughed our way through it and we enjoyed the meal. We were like, my friends, especially because, you know, I just came from school, so I kind of knew what was going on. They were like, Jay, what's this? This is how you do it. You eat it this way, and blah, blah, blah. And we were just exploring, and enjoying the flavors and the tastes. Some of them were brand new. We've never tried anything like that before. And yeah, and I think that's how I would like to enjoy food, with that spirit in mind of learning and enjoying it and just being chill about it, basically, not being so, oh, well, probably this beef was from this prefecture in Japan, and blah 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 blah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I have friends who I can talk to like that, but even those friends, at some point we stop and we just make gago each other because we
Yeah.
don't want to get too, you know what I mean? We don't want to get too serious about it. Also, we want to have fun also, diba? So
Okay, so let's shift. I will pre-warn. Let's shift topic again. Let's kind
okay,
of bounce off food, and go back to what you said about you wanting to, first and foremost, be someone that other people can trust. Not only when it comes to food, but about like giving advice or just listening to them in general, and being sort of like outlet for people to express themselves and share their personal like lives with you.
Okay.
So for context, for everyone who's listening who's not an Antiocher, me and Ramon are both part of Antioch San Antonio. Um, and Manong is one of our adult leaders.
Mother
They're
hen.
technically, as young as he is, technically his role is to be kind of like the parent figure to all of us, and it's not an easy thing to handle because we're roughly like maybe right now in our community alone like 700 plus, I think. So
Oh,
he,
man.
he has to think about being responsible again for all of us, and it's definitely not an easy thing to take on. So I guess, Manong, what made you want to volunteer or accept to become an adult leader? Like, because I know you were part of Antioch also when you were younger. Did you ever think that you'd be in this position now where you're kind of like our quote unquote parents?
Not really. I mean, you never plan for it. It's not like, oh, I want to be adult leader of Antioch. Not really. But um, Antioch came at a time in my life when I didn't think I needed it. If I'm to be
Mm.
honest, I was forced to join. My mom just signed me up. She didn't even ask me anymore. And I hated it. I hated the thought of I there were some people I didn't like in Antioch who actually became my really close friends. So stupid. But yeah, it came at I guess it came at a good point in my life. I had taken days with the Lord in my alma mater in high school. Most of us did, and that's more me centric. It's about me and my relationship with God. And then with Antioch, it became us as a community. And it just did so many good things for me. I guess I bloomed, I guess, in Antioch, and I had a leadership role kind of right away because I took to it like fish to water. I guess it was really something that I got into, and yeah, and there was a time kasi when Antioch did not have an adult leader a few years, and that was the lost. Those are the lost years. Those are a little scary. And then nag SOS. The people I knew who were still there, SOS to me and said, you know what, I hope you guys can help because it's a rudderless ship. We're kind of moving without any direction. And yeah, that's how I found myself there. That's how I found myself in there, and that's how I became adult leader, I guess. And yeah, I haven't left since then. So the window between me being an active Antiocher, and adult leadership isn't very big. I just kind of
Mm.
transitioned into that, and it like anything, there's a learning curve. So I had to learn things along the way, which I have. And it's been it's been almost 2 decades since I've done
Wow.
this.
A journey.
Yeah, that's like your way back home after maybe that was a point where you weren't so active in Antioch anymore, and then you got called back to
Yep,
do this, and you never left after.
yep. Because now of all the good things that I learned from it, it's been something that
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, it was such a good influence on my life, and the ties that I've made there, the friendships I made there. I would say I like to say 85% of everyone I know on this entire planet are from church. So yeah, it's become a part of me already, basically.
What like words of wisdom or advice can you give to anyone listening to this podcast right now? Like advice in general.
Yeah,
Well,
about anything.
Yeah.
yeah. Um. Oh man, there's so many things. Uh, Definitely one of the things I think I've learned in the past, in in the pandemic times, which I hate saying, but it's true, is you realize what's most important to you. Um, it's not stuff, it's not wealth, it's not power or whatever, but it really is the gifts that you have around you. Uh, Family, friends, the little things, the things that we often take for granted. Don't ever lose sight of that. Um, Always be humble, always be humble, and never stop trying to learn. When you're in school, it's a drag because I'm like, fuck this, I don't want to learn this, man. But there come a point when you want to learn so many things because you realize, oh my god, there's so many things I don't know. There's so many things I still don't know. A ton of things I don't know. And so I'd love to learn more about it. So keep keep wanting to learn more. Uh, what's another thing that I can give? Oh, well, follow your passions, but be practical also, of course. Know what you need and go for it. Don't be like, oh well, yeah, I just wanna draw comics for the rest of my life. But you gotta have other plans as well. You can't just because you don't know, right? Give it your best shot, definitely. But yeah, but be practical as well and know what you want. And well, and lastly, I think for me, be good to each other and respect each other. Know that everyone is going on their own journey in life. Not everyone is born an asshole if they're assholes in your life. And you don't have to embrace assholes, but you can still be respectful of them. And I think moving forward, really, that's a good way to lead a good life. I think to not be so angry about things, and definitely not be so caught up in things that you can't control. Because they're like now, like any of this, you can't control this, right? So don't do just pray about that if you're a praying person. But for me, it's more of, well, do what you can do with the things that you can help. Diba? There, follow your passions also. That's always a good thing.
Parang share group talaga.
Oh, share group. We're gonna share a group.
So wise, so wise.
1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks for tuning in to more Screw Up Sesh. We'll hope we'll see you again. Screw Up Sesh, Screw Up Sesh. Thanks for tuning in to our stupid podcast.